Hello, and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about ecopsychology and how climate change affects us. Ecopsychology is a field of research that examines how the weakening of the bond between humans and nature leads to crises as humans destroy nature. It is also identified as one of 6 core subfields of environmental psychology. The other subfields include behavior and the built environment, conservation psychology, psychology on the population level, teaching psychology for sustainability, and using film to demonstrate environment and behavior. A related field, clinical ecopsychology, systematically examines the direct and indirect impacts of climate change, pollution, and environmental degradation on mental health. This specific area of study also explores the mechanisms through which ecological crises can contribute to the development of mental health disorders, identifies risk and vulnerability factors to understand who is more susceptible to ecological adversity, investigates protective and resilience factors that support individuals' adaptation to environmental crises, studies the positive effects of contact with nature on mental well-being, aims to develop effective treatment approaches for mental health issues related to climate and environmental crises. Climate change significantly affects people's mental health through a variety of direct and indirect pathways, impacting cognitive functions, social relationships, and leading to various mental illnesses, including a growing phenomenon known as climate anxiety. This concern is increasingly recognized, with a notable increase in research indexed in field, from 69 studies in 2019 to 427 in 2024, and projected to reach 202 in 2025. The field of clinical ecopsychology systematically examines these impacts, exploring the mechanisms through which ecological crises contribute to mental health disorders, identifying risk and vulnerability factors, investigating protective elements, studying the positive effects of nature contact, and aiming to develop effective treatment approaches. But how does climate change affect us? Let's dive in. Cognitive impact. Climate change directly, like heat, pollution, extreme weather, and indirectly, like food or financial insecurity, threatens brain development. Prenatal and early childhood experiences can have lasting effects on cognitive abilities. Stress and trauma during pregnancy, especially from extreme weather and disruptions, may harm fetal nervous system development and increase the risk of premature birth, which is linked to lifelong cognitive issues. Malnutrition or undernutrition in early life can hinder optimal cognitive development. Climate-related displacement can disrupt or end education, impacting lifelong cognitive and educational outcomes. High temperatures temporarily impair cognitive functions like reasoning and task performance, leading to lower test scores and increased errors in complex tasks, affecting academic and workplace performance. Social relationships. Extreme weather events can disrupt family functioning and increase risks of aggression, domestic violence, and child abuse. Caregiver responsiveness may decline, and families may become more socially isolated after disasters. High temperatures are linked to elevated levels of aggression and interpersonal conflict, including domestic violence. Involuntary migration due to climate change has negative effects on social relationships and mental well-being, causing stress and often leading to social tension, stigma, and discrimination in host communities. Forced displacement can break social bonds, reduce emotional resilience, and result in identity loss and financial hardship due to difficulty finding employment. Mental illnesses. High temperatures are linked to increased negative emotions, reduced positive emotions, and higher aggression, contributing to poorer mental health. Studies show a strong correlation between heat and mental health issues, including suicide rates and psychiatric hospitalizations. A 1 degree Celsius rise in temperature is associated with a 2.2% increase in mental health-related mortality and a 0.9% increase in morbidity. Heat-related mental health effects may stem from neuroinflammation, altered neurotransmitters, sleep disruption, and social behavior changes. Extreme weather events, like floods, wildfires, storms, increase risks of PTSD, anxiety, substance use, and suicide. In children, these events can lead to attachment issues, phobias, and sleep disturbances. Indirect impacts include migration-related stress, especially when access to culturally competent care is lacking. food insecurity and malnutrition, which are linked to poorer mental health outcomes, poverty, which both contributes to and is worsened by poor mental health, economic shocks from climate change like crop or job loss, leading to stress, anxiety, and depression. Climate anxiety. Worry about climate change is increasingly common and, for some, negatively affects daily functioning, with 45% of young people reporting such an impact. Clinicians report growing cases of climate-related anxiety among their patients. A scoping review identified 90 empirical studies linking indirect climate change experiences to climate anxiety. Climate anxiety is positively correlated with clinical anxiety and depression and negatively correlated with well-being. It is more strongly predicted by environmental concern than by general anxiety traits. A qualitative study in Australia identified 3 dimensions of climate anxiety among youth: helplessness in the present, hopelessness about the future, and acute stress from direct environmental disasters. A major stressor for young people is a disconnect between them and older generations/government regarding climate perception. People also report sadness, grief, fear, anger, and guilt related to climate change, which are linked to insomnia, decreased well-being, and other mental health problems. Awareness of climate change has been associated with depression, anxiety, substance use, and suicidal thoughts. Climate change contributes to global uncertainty, destabilizing social, economic, and political systems, and undermining future outlook. Unequal impact and vulnerability. Climate change affects people unequally depending on personal and environmental factors, with a socio-ecological framework explaining how different systems, individual, family, community, societal, shape vulnerability. Socially disadvantaged groups, e.g., low-income groups, global south populations, face a higher burden. Children and youth are particularly at risk due to lifelong exposure, especially in impoverished or rural settings. Older adults are vulnerable to mental health issues after disasters and may face additional risks due to isolation, chronic illness, or limited mobility. Other at-risk groups include women, people with disabilities, those with pre-existing mental illnesses, low socioeconomic status, and indigenous communities. How can we prevent mental health problems? Preventing mental health problems due to climate change requires building resilience at the societal, community, and individual levels. Societal level. Policies need to target the social determinants of related mental health problems, with investments in areas such as housing, access to health services, poverty reduction, and climate education. Media and press policies are also important. Community level. Community-based projects, such as environmental restoration efforts or school-based programs, can enhance psychological well-being and strengthen collective resilience. Individual level. Promoting coping mechanisms and preventing avoidance strategies are key. Hope and connecting with nature are seen as healthier and more effective ways, supported by factors such as beliefs, values, and community belonging. Ultimately, individual mental health cannot be achieved without transformative collective action to address the factors associated with climate change. Thank you for watching, and if you watched this far, please like and subscribe.